Hello. Okay, so today we're gonna be doing the Intaglio technique, and you use a plexiglass like this, and you get your image, and you print it out in grayscale so that you can see your shadows better, and you'll be able to better decide where you want to scratch more, and then you put them on top of each other, right? So you can trace it unless you're freehanding, which is cool too. But for this assignment or situation, I will be using the photo. Then we have our little needle scratch thing. You can put corks so you don't poke yourself. It looks like this. Boop. Looks like that. And then you scratch away. I'll bring it closer. I already started, clearly. And you just go at it. And you're gonna scratch more in the spots that are darker. So like, for example, there's more shadows here than there are over here. And even though it looks dark here, you can just apply the sensor, right? Obviously the light's hitting here in the parts that are facing the left. So yeah. And then if it helps, sometimes you can go in with the pen, like a regular pen, and scratch, make like lines so that you know where you're gonna scratch in case you're a little scared of going at it right away. Or if you need help, and be like, oh, is it like this? And then you ask a buddy, and they'll tell you yes or no, and then you make your decision. And so you keep scratching and scratching, right? All the dark parts, because everything that you scratch is where the ink will seep in all those crevices, and everything that you don't scratch is going to be the highlight, right, where there's going to be no ink, so like the paper will show through more. And yeah, so after you're done with it, you won't need the paper in the back, and you can kind of see where everything is at. Loop. There. See it there. And then you pick your color. Okay. And then after picking your color, I picked black. I thought it would look cool with the line work. This one's a little thick, and you can see the thick will come out, and it's too big, right? But what you can do is you can get like little sticks. These are like those mixing sticks, and you can just grab some, right, and plop it on there. That's more than enough. Just spread it around with this thing, I hope. Since it's really thick, maybe we can put more since it's not spreading the way it would spread normally. I'm not entirely sure how to fix the thickness. This is just what was available in the classroom. Usually I wouldn't put too much. A little bit goes a long way, and if you ever want a little more, you can always dab some of the newspaper on there and then put it on top. But we'll see how this turns out. Okay, that's plenty. What you do next is you can get newspaper, fold it up. I usually put 2 pieces of newspaper down so that it's just easier to clean up, and you'll see that towards the end you just wrap it all up. So got this, and then it's probably best to grab another piece of paper. So you can hold on to a corner. Woo! And just rub it on there hard so that it gets applied, but also not a lot of it stays on the surface. I like to place some butcher paper at the bottom so I can better see where the ink is more concentrated at. It's gonna look something like this. You can get a better idea of where like the paint is concentrated at and what you want to take away. So like some of these parts are the highlight. Maybe some of these parts look a little too empty. So I'll like grab a little bit and I'll dab it on top and I'll like smush it around. And then we can get a cheesecloth. Get a friend to help you cut it and you didn't previously cut it. And it is oh, there's blue. And then changes color. And so I do this so that I don't like use too much cheesecloth, right? Or like maybe I want different colors, I don't know. I feel more in control when I cut a little piece. And then you just erase it from the parts that you want to make brighter, because it's better able to get in the crevices of the cracks. And you just, do your best, experiment with how it looks. If you're like, oh, I removed too much, then you can, again, just dab it with the newspaper, the ink. Dab the newspaper on the ink. And then do this motion, this little, like, quick stamping motion. And then, like, you can smush it around. And then you can go back and erase. Or, like, use the cheesecloth to, like, take off anything that you think looks too dark. And to be honest, I try not to mess with it too much or think about it too much. I just try and go for it, and then if it doesn't come out that way, just remember what you did so that you can do something different. And now we wear gloves for this reason. So we're gonna get our watercolor paper. After the glove stops being attached onto you, you gotta be careful when you take them off. If not, what's the whole point of wearing the gloves? Unless you have extra gloves and you put on the other gloves and you just, anything you're dirty, you just keep putting on more and more gloves. That's completely fine. Just want to be careful. I'm pretty sure I got dirty already. Ugh. Okay. Oh, look. This is a technique a friend showed me. I kind of nailed it. And now I got paint all over my mouth. I opted for wearing a glove because spray bottles are dirty, because people use them and don't take off their gloves. And that's the other thing you want to be careful of. If you notice that somebody's using their painting hand on the items, such as the handle of the press or the spray bottle, then, you know, go out of your way to use a napkin or a glove to handle the bottle. And then we're just gonna grab it as best as we can without dirtying it and just lightly spray. So like this. Lightly, lightly. That's too much. Okay. After you spray it, I like to grab a piece of paper, such as these, and take off some of the water because you don't want it to be too wet either. You know, you can use a sponge to do this. Essentially, we're just wetting it so that the ink can better transfer. Grab your semi-wet paper. Try your best to put it in the center. Try your best to keep it clean. And at first, we placed a butcher paper underneath to, you know, and then we place another butcher paper on top. And in this part, you want to hold your paper down as you see us doing. I may or may not have moved mine. Try not to move yours. And then you grab one of these thick felt things. Hope and pray that nothing moved. Just be careful. And then you let it down. And then these, you don't see them, but these parts right here, they're already set. They go that way to close, this way to open. And thankfully they're already set from yesterday, so we don't have to worry about that. And then after that, we get to turn this thing. And if you can put it over here. It got dirty on the corner of the iPad. And better angle for how it looks. You're gonna feel a little bit more extra pressure once the plexiglass goes on it. You wanna be careful that the table doesn't fall to the other end. Then once you feel the release, you can bring it back. Bring it back. And then boom. And then you carefully take it off, trying your best not to move the papers, trying your best not to cry if it didn't come out the way you didn't want it to come out. If it didn't come out the way you wanted it, you just repeat the process. Okay. Hell yeah! And that's how it looks. This part, it's okay, I guess. But there you go. See how like some areas are lighter than others? That's where I cleaned more, and where there's less scratches as well. And you can change where the ink goes and whatnot as you do several prints. And they say for every 10 prints, 5 good ones come out. So you just want to repeat it until you're satisfied. And so far, so clean. I did not cut the paper because sometimes it tends to go on crooked. So what I do is afterwards, I just measure 1 inch all around and then cut it. And it just makes it easier for me to for it to set it. But if you did want to cut the paper before, you would just have to maybe make an outline for where your plexiglass is going to go, and then make an outline exactly where the watercolor paper is going to go. And like that, it'll be exactly straight each time. But yeah, that's the process, the intaglio process. Whatever ink you use, make sure it's for that process and not screen printing or block printing. And the bottle looks the same as it looked at the beginning of the video. And yeah, and then now for the cleaning process. The cool thing is that we set up our newspaper before. So, guess what? It's easier to clean. That's what's up. And even though it's over, I'm still going to use the gloves just in case I happen to touch the print or any other paper that I wanted to keep clean. Just try and pull through with the cleanliness. Just makes life easier. You don't have your fingers sturdy at the end, and then you touch your clean prints, and then what was once a clean, beautiful print is now a reason for you to lose your sanity. To clean it, we get oil, and that's just gonna make everything go away. So honestly, you don't really need that much, I think. Oh, that's enough. Then you grab it. You grab some paper. This is just paper, half a tab, the one that I use for the water. And you just scrub away. And immediately you'll see it like basically transparent. So it works wonderful. Just whatever type of oil should immediately take off the ink. You really shouldn't have to struggle that much to clean it. I try not to use too much, but I mean, if I have to, then so be it. It's gonna get clean. See how clean it is already? Oh my god. And then after doing the front, you just want to try and do the back, because there's probably some stuff on the back. And then there's a lot of ink on here, so what I'm going to try and do is scoop it back in the container. I'm scooping it back in because I kept my area pretty clean, so there's no fear of contamination. But if yours got mixed with another color, then don't put it back in the container if you don't want it to get contaminated. You can obviously mix colors if you want and make a new color, but it just depends on your preference. Okay, after doing your best to clean off any excess ink, just use the same oil paper and rub off everywhere that you see the ink. This stuff, honestly, if it stays there, if you don't clean it, it's probably still going to be alive the next time you touch it, and then it's going to get on your clothes. You might as well use your gloves, while you still have your gloves, to close the container. This too. And now we set this aside, and we can throw away. Unless you're gonna use this again, like you're gonna use the same color again, you can keep it. Otherwise, I guess you can throw it. I don't know, whatever you feel is best. And then after this, leave an extra one if people are still using the area, so that it doesn't get dirty. But see how quick that is. Boom, super clean. So here I'm going over the edges with some more oil because it still had a good amount of ink, and it just makes it easier to remove the ink since the ink won't come off with just water. And I simply put some soap on my hand and then rub it all over the plexiglass to take off anything that's still remaining on the plexiglass. I repeat the process with the spatula and everything is good as new. Mineral spirit to clean the area that you saw earlier, but I put newspaper down so that I wouldn't have to use the chemical or anything. Woo! So the oil works and so does the soap. Now once you're done, that's it. Much thanks to my friend Amy and Erica and the Griffin. Bye.